Hello everybody, welcome to this part 45 of the Arduboy dev stream. Outside of the stream I've fixed some little bug in the bug editor, so we can see that first. It's just some kind of annoying bug to find on video. Okay, so the first thing is we finished the last stream with last video with the first implementation of the map compression and saving the map from the editor. So here I fixed some little bug, like there was a space here between the sharp include, and I added some line just to make the export a bit more spacey. So nothing special. Here I fixed the computation of the sprite coordinate for the screen, from the screen coordinate to the sprite coordinate. So if you remember during live sprint, when we decide to click, we have the mouse down event, click event on screen. So we have the mouse coordinate, and we want to know which sprite we have clicked in on the level. And I just did it very simply by dividing by the sprite width, but the thing is I didn't count the line in between the puzzle screen. So of course we needed a more precise function to do that. So finally, if you remember last stream, I hesitated to place the function in the main form or in the map data. Finally, I moved it to the map data because I think there was more data that was necessary inside the map. So I just created a function that get the sprite coordinate from the screen coordinate. Specifying the camera location in sprite coordinate sorry, and the screen location, the mouse location, and here basically I just iterate, just make a loop. I didn't try to make something like computing how many lines and stuff like that. So it's a kind of lazy implementation, but that do the job. That's enough, I think, for an editor. We don't look for a tight optimization. So yeah, and then I just changed these parameters. Give a point instead, because basically in the main form, I just get the point from that function, and that works pretty well. So I'm quite happy. It's just it's maybe an annoying bug. If you have it, it's better to have something precise when you click it. All right. So next, what we have. I changed a little bit the drawing. I didn't draw the line up to the maximum. Also here I make the minimum of the sprite width by 2 pixels, because obviously we don't have so many screen to display. So 2 pixels is already good enough to see the wall level on a normal screen, I would say. And here basically, okay, let's just move this variable here, because I use it different here. I use it here, and I wanted to use elsewhere. So basically I just draw the last 2 lines. So if you remember, the last line were not drawn, so just draw it. It's just nicer. And this is a bug fix also, if you remember, because we have refactored a little bit, but we forgot to change that. So the vertical line were not drawn again. And yeah, that's how I compute the line width. So also I compute the line width and vertical and horizontal, so I don't draw up to the end of the screen. So that just make a nicer drawing. Actually, I will show you that in a minute. And then I also just avoid an exception here if the coordinate is outside of the level. So that could happen if you zoom out and click totally outside of the screen. So all right, so let's see how it looks like. Oh, what's that? Sorry, it's not on the correct screen. Okay. So yeah, if I zoom out, you see I don't draw the line, and if I click here, I don't crash, and yeah, that's the whole level. Okay, that's it. All right, so that was just bug fixing. So today we can continue to save our map and implement the saving correctly. If you remember the map test we had, we didn't finish the ID here. So I guess we should we can first fix this. Okay, so here in the in the right level data. So I guess after the line, when we finish a line, we should check if we were writing the high bit or not. So, and yeah, our value is still hard coded for now, but we will fix that later. Okay, so here, after this loop, we can check. Okay, so but we have just switched the high bit after writing it. So actually it should be if we are in low, if we need to write a low, then we can write just 0 because this data won't be used anyway, and it should be in a low mode. All right, and after that I don't care to change the bit, so write the last low bit if we need to finish the line. All right, let's try that. Save, and okay, so now we have our 0. Okay, so seems correct now. So now we should we can try to get correct value here. Or maybe later. Maybe we'll do it later. We can first try to start writing the this array, the array of the lines. So for that means we have to count every how many sprite ID, so how many char actually. We need to count the char here for every line. So that should be pretty easy. We just need a counter. But we cannot write as we count, we cannot write it, so we need to go through all the level and then we need to write it. So that means we have to use intermediate list to store those data. So let's declare list. Of int so is the line index new no. So actually we could know in advance the length of the list. It depends on the I will just okay, I will just write some variable. We will change those variable later. And we may also have a start x and y if we don't draw the level in the top center. But anyway, even if we don't draw in top center, I think it will be exported like in the top, like in 0, 0. So let me check. Yeah, because if we just write the idea. All right, yeah. So for now we'll just hard-code them, but we can change them later. Started NX. I guess you start to see my design pattern. I usually like to have started x and NX, or start y and y value for iterating stuff. I don't know why is that. So we can start here and y, and later we will change those variables. We will compute them in a way or another, and that's start x and x. And that means here I can initiate my list with the number of line plus 1, I guess. All right. So so like I said, we need to have ID counter. So yeah, let's call it ID count. We start from 0, and I guess every beginning of the line we should add this. So line add, yeah, we add our ID count. No, ID count, sorry. Which means, okay, so add the index of the first ID of the line in the list. Start with the tab. Okay, so and then we have to increase that. So our first ID is 0, and this is what we want. We want the first one to be 0, of course. I can add it at the end of the loop if I need it during the loop, but I don't think so. So let's just add it here. That's fine. And I should, yeah, I add it at the beginning of the line. Then I say, okay. So then we have our list of index, and then we can write it. Write the line index array. Sorry. I will just iterate on all index. Right, so we should, of course, we should write the beginning of the declaration. So we need to have this. Okay, and then we can write it. Index to string. What happened? Oh, I'm outside of the function. Okay, so then we need to add a comma, and then we should close the array. Yep, with the right line, I guess. These two. It will add a comma at the end, but I think, does it compile? Maybe. Not sure. Otherwise, we can just test if it's not the last one. Let's try that. Let's try it. So I save, and okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just count, yeah, I count the line, not the ID. Yeah, that's not working. So the ID count has to be for each x, actually. No, for every 2x. So we can do it here. If we are doesn't matter, maybe we can count the high. So increase count the ID, but only for the high. Yeah. Let's try. So 0, 1, 4, and then 5. Still not correct. 0, okay. It's not 1. This is 0, 1, 2. This is 2. 3, 4, 5, and this is 6. So we should have 0, 2, 6. Not 0, 1, 4. We are missing 1. Okay, I'm writing 0. Then I count, we are high bit, so then I count 1. Then maybe that's not as simple as that. We should probably count, because here we have a continue of this loop. Yeah, so actually we should only count it when we write an ID here. Okay. Okay. I want this to be, we can put that in a function, so I can pass it in reference. Let's do that. So I move this into this function. And I will also move this in the function. Okay, so I will pass it as a reference. Also this as a reference. So inverse the flag. Okay. Let's try that. Zero to 6, that's what I want. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, to 6, 8, 10, 12, and after is only every 2. Seems good. And the rest seems okay. 1 space, then the 5, then space 1, then the 7, then space. Why the last space is 0? The last space should not be 0. So maybe we just forget to write the last count. Okay, that's also, I think. But yeah, but I think this line index counter seems to be okay in my opinion. All right? So here we'll write 0. It may happen that we have a continue here, we are counting space, and then we reach the end and we don't write it. So so at least we should write the space if we are counting the space, because here we write, here we write, here we write. So last line here. Yeah, only if we are in high bit. So if we count the space, we need to write the space counter. Otherwise we can write 0. Let's try again. Save. And yeah, now we have 12. Okay. And even here we have 2. So that means is there enough space? Like it's 15 plus 2 is 17. 17 should be 16. Should be 16. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 12 is 16. Here it's okay. One space, 2, 3, 4, and 12, 16. Okay, but here it's 17. Because we iterate from 0 to 16, 16 excluded. Space counter is here. So it's easy, it's a line of space, so it should be easy to understand. We have okay, 0. So we are going here, we should count space. We start with 1, okay. So we go up to 14. 14 is okay. If it's 15, then we write 15. 15, right? Yeah. Then after 15, we'll write another 15, and we start with 1. Now, should we start again with 1? That's maybe the problem. So if it's 14, it's okay. If it's 15, we write it, but we just count the 15 1. Okay, so we write space, which we should not write space again. We don't know. Maybe just after 15 space, there is maybe an ID which is not a space. Let's test this. I think there's a bug here. So in the init function, we can place something at 16. We will place the number 1, ID 1. So that means we have no 15. Sorry. So from 0 to 14 we have 15 space, and then on 15 we have something which is not a space, and I think that will be buggy here. So let's save it, and here, so which line I put? Oh, I put it on the wrong line, sorry. Let's do it on the 0 line. Okay, so here we have 15 space, and the 16 one is not a space, and that is buggy, I guess. Yeah, we have 15 space, and then we have one more space, and then we have our ID, which is not correct. This is not our map. So I guess after writing the space counter, we should we can just put that to false. And reset to 1. That should be okay. So we put that to false and reset to 1. That means next one, if it's a space again, so this one is false, but if it's a space again, then it will be here, which means it will be true again, and we will write the space as normal. And if it's not the space just after 15, then we will write the ID normally. Yeah, I think that's what should be done. Let's try that. Save it. Okay, 15, and then 1. We have 1, and then this is the 0, the padding 0 that we don't use. I'm okay, so that means 15 plus 1, 16. Okay, and this one is still okay, I guess. 1 space, 2, 3, 4, and then 12. Okay, then here we have 15 space and 1 space. It's 16 space. Yeah, that's correct. And here we have 0, 2, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, yeah, that seems pretty good. Let's commit that. Let's start to be okay, I guess. So yeah, all right, so yeah, so we have put these two variables in reference because we want to change only when you write something, when you write an ID. So it's easier to put it inside the write level ID function and giving us a reference. We have a start and that variable that will be changed later. And we have our list to count the beginning of the line, and we have fixed bug here, and we write the array. Okay, so fix bugs and finish implementing the saving of the map. All right, so what else do we have to save? After that, we have to save all the items, right? And the init function. But for this, we will need to do more in the editor, like start to implementing all the function to all the features to place different item like enemies and stuff like that. So I guess I'll leave this export, this saving for when we implement this later. So instead, what I want to do is I want to try to implement the reading function of the map. Okay, so there is two ways to do it. There is an easy way and there is the crazy way, I would say. The easy way would be to save our map into intermediate file format, for example XML, and C# can provide that quite easily. You can serialize your class with the serialization function in XML, so you can just call the function and C# will the .NET will have the function to automatically save all your level data. So it will save all big level data, and then yeah, we could have a XML file that contains all the map data that we want into the XML format or whatever. It could be another kind of intermediate format that is quite easy to parse and read. Or it could be even either in a binary format or text format, but easy to read. I mean, so that would be the normal way to do it. However, there's also the crazy way to do it, and this is probably what I want to try, the crazy way, which is I would like to don't have this intermediate format and just parse again the C++ file. So it's crazy because obviously we have the C++ syntax that we have to parse, which could be sometimes a bit tricky. But the big advantage of that is that when we are on the Arduboy and when we are developing on Arduboy, maybe we could change something in the map directly in the Arduboy in our editor. We change something, and then when you reload this CPP file into the level editor, then you have all your change, right? So that's one advantage. You don't have the intermediate file or the master file that could be your XML file. But like I said, it's a bit crazy to do that because, of course, yeah, we will have to deal with the parsing. So I still want to go with the crazy way. However, I will not implement a crazy parser or use library to parse it or whatever. I will just assume a lot of things about that file. So, for example, I would assume that the map, the level data is first in the file, and then you have the other data. So, and I will assume that we will use the ID macro and all that stuff. So I assume a lot of things about this format, which means we can still modify it manually, but we should try to respect or keep the format. For example, I will assume also that every line is on a separate line and not like this. That could work, that could compile, but yeah, I will assume that it is like this, so it's easier for the editor to parse the file, because we know one line for every line of the level, right? So by assuming different stuff, we can probably easily parse it. Also, that's another reason why I kept the ID macro, because you may think maybe that's something I didn't tell you before, but I had that in mind since the last stream. You may think why I didn't pack the two ID into one char directly in C sharp, because C sharp you can also move bit and pack, do binary operation in C sharp, of course. I could have packed these two and just write the char ID here. So why I'm using the ID macro? I'm using the ID macro because it's easier to parse. Okay, so now I will read again that file and I can tokenize it with the ID macro. And I know that, okay, we will have like a 1515 or like a 15.1, 5.15, etc. So I have my already separated values IDs, so it's easier to uh, to read it. I mean, all right. So yeah, I propose you to do that. There's one thing also I can say is this array. We don't need to parse it. We don't need it because, like I said, I can assume one line is one line of the level, so that means I don't have to parse this one. I can just ignore it, and I will just regenerate it. This array is only necessary for the Arduboy and for the code in the Arduboy, but all the data are actually already available here. Of course, if it's packed, if you put several lines of the level into one line of C++, then yeah, I could still read this array and find it back, but this is more code for reading it. So like I said, we will assume a lot of stuff, and hopefully we hope that the programmer will not break the map data. All right, so yeah, let's try to do that. So I think I will create another region for saving, and maybe I can just do this. Oh, that's the right region, and I will create a new region for read. Okay, so we may have a load function. So I guess it should be a stream reader. And what kind of parameter can we have? File name. Encoding. I'm looking for the signature. True. Yeah, encoding. Yeah, just the encoding should be okay. All right, this one. Yeah. All right, so I will obviously call it reader. And then I will, we can just skip the header. We don't care. So okay, we need we can read line by line and then call different function depending on the line we found. So I guess it will be a while end of file. End of stream. So and then we still need to close it, of course. All right, so we can read the line by line. Reader read line. And then we can do a series of if and call the correct function. If line, I can use and start with this, or let's say map manager level. Let's say we can take that. So we can be a bit more forgiving if we just say contains, if it contains the declaration of the variable of the level, then we can call the read level data function. We give the reader so it's a private void and then we may have some else if and whatever. So we assume that if we have this this level, then the next line will be the beginning of the level, right? So obviously we should also check that we are not reaching the end of stream. That should not happen, otherwise that means the map data is broken. But anyway, let's not have the editor throwing an exception. Not end of stream, and so okay. We should also have line by line, of course, and line does not contain the end of the array, which means the close bracket. Okay, so while it's not the end of string and not contain the end of the closing bracket, we can read it. So we already read one line. So let's say then we have to tokenize it. So we have a string array that we can call token, which will be line dot split, and we should split by the comma. Can the split can take yes an array of separator. Array of separator. Okay. New char. Let's give this. Okay, so we split with the comma. Let's have a look. So we have this. We may have some tab or some end of line or whatever, but we can ignore those. So okay, token. We have our list of token. Then we iterate on our token for each string. So I will put an as in tokens in my here. Put an as here. All right. If maybe I can just do that. If token yeah, we should no, we cannot split by comma because there's comma in the ID, so we should split by ID actually. We should split by ID. So should split by ID first. Char. I can only char string count splitting options. There's more parameters if I use string separator splitting options. Okay. Yeah, okay. So split it. Oops, sorry. Wrong keyboard. So splitting options. What do we want? Remove empty entries. None. Yeah. Sure. Remove empty entries. All right. So. Okay, so we have tokens. So if we remove empty entries, we should have valid token. We may have token with only comma. I'm not sure. We need to step into to see how it tokenize. We can check if it start, or maybe start with, that would be enough. Start with bracket. So if it start with bracket, that's a token that we are looking for. So then we can split again for getting the two IDs. So token split, and this time we can split on the comma. Is that okay? No, I forgot. Yeah. Why is red? Split strings. Oh yeah. so string array, sorry. So that's my two IDs. The IDs may start with actually, should I include the bracket here? That's maybe a bit more, maybe more difficult to pass. So yeah, that's fine. Let's do it like that. All right. So after that, we can remove the bracket and then convert it to int. Right. So int id1 equals first token can get a substring to remove the bracket, and we can trim it just in case there is space around the number. Well, no, actually it's useless because the conversion to int will trim it. So can do try pass. Or just pass it. I want to see the exception for now. Let's see. So if you cannot pass it, for example, if there is a later and it's not an int, then the pass function will throw an exception. Otherwise, the try pass will just not throw an exception but return a boolean value if it succeeds to pass the string. Okay, so and then this is the id2 is the second token, and we can remove the end, remove which is the number of character in the current instance beginning at specific position have been deleted. Yeah. Remove the index of closing bracket. So I get the index of the closing bracket on the second token, and I remove it, and then I pass it. All right, I will just right now we'll just launch that and pass it, and see a step inside to see what we have. So we need to load all data in the main form. I need to do the event for opening. Okay, so mmap load, and I need to give the file name, and we'll try to pass the one we have on current level. Let me move that next to the save. Oops. All right. Well, let's just try to pass the same one. All right. And yeah, I wanted to put a breakpoint. Yeah, already put. Okay, let's run it. So open. Yeah, you can see the watch. All right, so how about our tokens right now? Okay, looks good. We have our tab 151510. So far so good. Does it start with this? The first one, no. Okay, the next one, yes. Then we split. What about our IDs? So we have 15 and 15, and then we pass this. Should be okay. So ID 1 is 15 and ID 2 is for now 0, but then step, and we have an exception. All right, let me check this. Oh, it's not ID 2, it's ID 1, sorry. All right, this is 1, not 2. Let's run again. Open. All right, so here, tab. Okay, 1 and the 2, it's 15. Okay, the next token, we have 1, which is, yeah, I'm okay, and then we should have 0 and 0. Okay, next line. The next line is the same. No, it should not be the same. 15. Yeah, by the way, I should stop reading it. Yes, it's here when I read this. Yeah. Yes, okay. The problem is I forgot to read again the next line. That's why I'm reading the same line. All right, so after we read our line, then read the next line. Okay. Okay. Let's run again. So we were in infinite loop. Okay, so we're on first line. Reread the next line. Tokenize. And this time we have 5 token, which, okay, good. Tab 15, 1, 5, 15. Okay, let's see. This 15.1 for a first token. Yep. 15.1. Okay. Second one. Second token. 5.15. 5.15. Yes. 5.15. Okay. Then we have 7.1. We should have 7.1s. 1.7. Yes, actually 1.7. And 15.12. 15.12. Okay. And then end of line. Okay, let's see if I exit this loop, put a breakpoint here. Yeah, I exit the loop. All right, so far so good. All right, so now we also need to uncompress it, right? Because sometimes we read space, and then the next ID is a count of space, and then we should write this into our level data. So by the way, the first thing I will do is to clear my level. I will clear my level into the load function. Okay. Yeah. Some nice music offered to you. All right, and then so I'm clearing my level, and yeah. So so here I have to read the two together. If equals one nothing. So I don't know what I'm writing now. Let's check if we read the nothing sprite ID. Okay, so if nothing, then ID2 contains the count. Okay, and I need to know where to write. So probably I need some variable to know where to write. So let's declare them x here. And we can start with 0. That means even if you draw your level in the middle, then if you reread again, it will move at the top. That's okay. Okay for now, I would say. Okay, so we have x and y, and for every line we need to increase y for sure. Y can start at 0. Okay, we can increase at the end, then increase it here, okay, and then here. So we have we don't need to write nothing, it's already nothing. We can just increase it by ID2. And that's it. Otherwise, or level data. So it's the M level. X and Y will equal ID1. I need to cast in byte. Okay. So and then I need to increase X by just 1. Okay. And what now if we have the space in between two ID macro, ID define? So that means if ID2 is equal nothing, and this is where I need the Boolean variable. for each token. So this is in this loop. Boom. Next. Next ID one is count. Let's write it like that for now. So if next ID one is count, then x plus equal ID one. And yeah, we do nothing else. Otherwise, if ID1 is a nothing, then ID2 is a count, and we should continue. And otherwise, ID1 is a valid ID, so we can just write it. So check ID1 first, and then we can check ID2. I think the code will be different, a little bit different, I think. So if ID2 is nothing, then we should set the flag. Oh, we forgot to reset it, by the way. Next ID1 is a count, true. So if next, okay, let's reset it, false. Okay, and we don't continue here because I need to write the ID2, but we just reset the flag. So if ID2 is nothing, then we don't need to write. We can just continue with this else, so we can just leave it. And the next ID1 is a count. Otherwise, if ID2 is the normal ID, so we can just write it in the level and we increase X. That should do it. All right, so just to test, I will comment this. I will try to load it. Okay, so we have nothing. Let's open it. I guess I need to refresh the view. And nope. we have the first line is okay, but then second line is not okay. I guess I forgot to reset the X for the next line. Yep. So where's the, let me close the right. Okay. Here, after we go to the next line, we should reset X. Let's open it and refresh the view. This is not correct. The third cursor, the third sprite is not correct. Second line, 1, 2, 3. We should have a space here. We should have a space. But this is and this one is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5, and this one is 7. 5 and 7. Let's check. I cannot remember exactly how it was. I think it was 5 and 7. Yeah, 5 and 7. So the space is not correctly written. Here the let's check the map. 15.1. The next ID, yeah, next ID is a count. It's here. Next ID is a count. So we are in that case. Next ID one is a count, and we don't write it, but then we write the ID 2, which is okay. Oh, x plus ID 1. This is correct. We don't set the flag. We just continue. Next ID 1 is a count. Plus 1. Then we write the 2. ID 2 is not nothing. We write it. Surprised. Let's step into. So actually I will skip the first line because first line is okay. Let's remove this. Okay. Yeah. Next line. Okay, so okay, well 15.1, 5.15, 1.7, etc. Okay, so the first one is this is 4, this is nothing. Yes, so we increase, x will become equal to ID2. ID2 is 1. Yes, there's only one space, so we increase x by 1. That's correct. We continue. Then this is 5.15, 5.15, so it's not a count, it's not nothing. We just write the 5, we increase x, then we check ID2, which is a nothing. The next ID1 is a count. That's true. But here we should not increase x yet. We will increase it here. Okay. So next one, it's 1 and 7. Yeah. Next ID1 is a why not? Ah, it was reset here, and we set it here. So we need to declare it over there. Okay, found the bug. This one goes here. Let's try again to load of map. Just refresh it. All right, we have it. Okay, so now we'll try to read our current map. I'll just so I will get this. Let's map data. Let's try it. And we have an exception. It just have one token in. Oh, okay. Yeah. They are not numbers. I'm trying to pass some enum. The token are just block, nothing, etc., etc. They are not numbers, so we cannot read or map data. All right, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good start for reading it. So we'll commit that, and I will end the stream here. All right, so let's see what we have changed. Yeah, we have the load. Actually, I will revert that. I will revert to what it was before. Map test, because our current map is unreadable. And by the way, I plan to write numbers, not enum. The enum is the enum that I put in the code. It was just for when we had specific case in the code. For example, in the draw function, I want to check if it's a stair, and then I mirror on the right if it's a ladder, etc. That's for the code logic. But when we will export the data, we will export just the numbers, of course. So, and that's easier to parse, of course. All right, so yeah, I referred. I just passed the test map. And here what we have, just the event handler for opening, for loading. And here, okay, I have commented this. I will revert the comment actually. And here what we have, a new regent and a new read function. Okay. So implement the first draft of reading the map data from the CPP file. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for watching as usual. And as usual, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them in a comment of this video. I would reply to it and try my best to answer the question if you have any. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and then I will see you later in the next video. Bye bye.